The biggest mystery so far in the battle between Ukraine and Russia has to be why Stephen Harper has been so belligerent with Vladimir Putin. This week, Harper was canvassing all over Europe to have Putin and Russia kicked out of the G8, while just a few years ago, he was salivating over the idea of Putin even visiting Canada. So what gives? Why are these two men who have so much in common intent on cutting each other out of their lives? Just consider how these guys have been like two peas in a pod, BFFs on every little thing. For example, argue with either one of them and you'll get beaten up and thrown in jail before you can say, "Hey, I think I have my rights here." Brute force against one lone victim. They even use the same bats and batons. Of course, they both like putting people in jail. Putin jails everyone he doesn't like, and Harper can't build prisons fast enough. And for the mentally ill, he sees to it that they're put in a special cell. Not sure if even Putin goes this far. Democracy? It's a running joke with both of them. Putin scammed his own people to be re-elected president, and if Harper can't have his own way, he just shuts down Parliament, and he'll fire scientists or forbid anyone to speak, or make all public information private. And if we disagree with his plans for us, then we're extremists, and we'll get a visit from CSIS. Respect for women? Putin threatened to use women and children as human shields in the Ukraine. And Harper's treatment of women has been so brutal, he was told by the UN to do something about the urgent violations of the human rights of women in Canada. Then there are the guns. They both love them. Putin uses his whenever he can, and so does our Prime Minister. They each have weird hobbies. Harper's obsessed with hockey, and Putin likes shirtless horseback riding. They're both in bed with the very rich. Putin has his corporate crooks, Harper his Canadian Council of Chief Executives, a group of Canadian corporations sitting on over $800 billion in profits, partly because of their low tax rate and partly because many of them send their profits offshore so they won't have to pay any taxes at all. These two men should be embracing, sharing notes, best practices, whatever, but instead they're bitter enemies. But Operation Maple has figured out why. See, these guys are more than two peas in a pod. They were separated at birth, and their anger and bitterness is rooted in this deep, never-ending pain of separation anxiety.